We're live. I'm so bad. Welcome to another edition of Las Vegas Pitch Presents with me and Wolfe, Keller Williams. We are going to have such a fun conversation today. I want to learn all about you.
Wow.
You are an interesting person.
Thank you.
Big social media presence, and thank you for joining us.
Well, awesome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I want to just dive in. We were talking, off camera about getting into real estate, and you've been in it for a little over 4 years, right? So it's how did you get into this?
I know. Well, I'm telling you, it's an interesting story, but besides saying I feel like God really told me to, I turned 40 and I was having
you look amazing as always.
Thank you. That was 4 years ago.
That was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You look really
but
amazing.
I really honestly, my kids, my last child had went to school, and we've been here. My husband's a pastor. We've had a church here we've been here 15 years now.
Yeah.
And I was kind of, I had my degree, but I was looking for something. And I, in the back of my head, I had a cousin that always told me, you'd be so good at real estate. And I really had a dream. I woke up and I told my husband, I go, listen, I'm getting my real estate license.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to get it. And it was 5 weeks. I had it. I passed my test, and I was in a class I was the oldest person there. There was 50 people there.
You probably look the youngest, but you were the oldest.
No,
huh?
I was definitely the oldest. Yes.
Okay.
And but I think there was 2 of us that even passed the test, because it is a hard test.
It's not easy. You have to go. You have to study.
You have to say. But I remember I was for 5 weeks. I was nobody talked to me about anything, and I had these flashcards, and I just did it. But I did it, and I got it. And honestly, COVID hit, so that was 2020, and I thought this was the worst mistake I ever made. How in the world?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so
because
I
was
was
right
just thinking
during the COVID time.
Yes,
yeah.
and we had just shut down, and I was just thinking
okay.
oh my gosh, I made a mistake, and I started doing video because that's all we could do was walk through videos.
Yeah. And
I was doing that, and I actually got some kind of negative feedback for doing that. I was on a team that was big, dialers,
Right.
And I had made a video at this open house, and it had 10,000 views. I was so excited about it.
That's a lot of views.
It was, especially then. That was when the open, it was live.
Right.
You could pick demographics and all that stuff.
Right.
So I was really excited, and I sent it to the team, and I was like, "What do you guys think?" And which don't ever ask somebody what do you think about this?
Yes.
If you don't really aren't ready for it, okay?
And don't worry about it.
So they go, somebody had said it, and they go, you know what? I think you need to be in here calling. And it just crushed me.
Yeah.
But it's funny because then, it was the beginning of moving me to where I needed to be. Yeah.
Well, I love it. Now because you're so busy, you just brought a daughter, right, to school.
Yes, to
and
college.
your oldest.
Yes.
Right. And how was that?
Oh my gosh, that was the most emotional 4 days of my life.
Yeah.
Taking her, I didn't think that it was gonna be hard, but that feeling you're at home at night, and all your kids are under your roof. All is well.
Right.
My kids are peacefully sleeping. That's
Right.
great. So that was just and she's been there almost 9 days,
Right.
counting it, and it still feels weird.
You're counting the days.
It was
when is she coming home? When is she coming home?
I don't know. It just feels so weird to have. It's a big piece missing.
Yeah.
But I know she's amazing. She's doing amazing and loving school. So I'm excited for that.
Well, that's good. So back to some of the video stuff. You have really built an amazing online presence, social media. Educating people. Where's that come from? Where do you get the inspiration to help people with that? Is it just a natural thing?
Well, I started thinking about that too, because I do like video. I mean, I like to watch video, and I like people to see me through video, because you kind of
brings out
attract
a personality.
It does.
Right?
I mean, not everybody's gonna like this, 44-year-old Southern lady, that talks a lot. So just get it. Either you like it or you love it,
right?
Or you don't. But I have always done that. But I started thinking about it, and when I first got out of high school, I remember wanting to do journalism.
Right.
I wanted to be a TV.
Oh, you wanted to be on that?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that, so it must have been there always.
Right.
But then I just, I never pursued that ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so 4 years in, what have you learned? What's been the biggest thing you've learned over the last 4 years?
I think that just a consistency and a follow-up. We were kind of talking nurturing. Like I feel like just as a mother, it's not supposed to touch my microphone, but I think as a mother, we're just naturally nurturing.
Yeah.
And fathers, if you have children, you're just you have to be a nurturer.
Right.
And I think that has helped me in my career, even with other agents that are newer coming in. I'm able to do that. And then my husband's a pastor, so we have a church, so I'm really used to hospitality and serving people.
Yes.
And I think that is because a lot of it, honestly, there's some days that are stressful, but sometimes it doesn't feel like work,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, you have
for
fun.
You, too.
You just feel so friendly that you're going to make friends with all your clients and have a good time, make sure they get in there. I have one question before we get into the real estate. Because of your busy life, 4 kids, 3 boys, pastor, church, when do you turn it off?
I know. I don't think it does.
I was thinking about that because, you have to go all day long. You have all the kids stuff, and then you have probably weekend stuff. And you're like, when does Mia get to turn it off?
I don't think we do. But no, me and my husband do. We take a week out, like probably twice a year. And, my sister-in-law or my mother-in-law will stay with the kids, and we go out of town and really kind of unplug. So that's
good.
Really the only
and I think that's important, right? You got to get away with your spouse and have that time together.
It is, but honestly, I am about 24/7, and my kids need me, my clients need me, my friends need me, my church needs me. I don't know, but I'm there. You can
keep that energy up. It's awesome. So let's talk real estate.
Okay.
Las Vegas real estate. Tips for sellers. What are you seeing sellers are needing right now in this market? Because the market has been, there's tight supply, there's not, and values are still going up. What are they asking for right now?
I think one part of it is that, they need to realize about the interest rates and what the buyers are thinking when pricing the home. And I think pricing right now is so key, and it's going to be whether that house is on the market. And of course it's always a thing, but,
right.
I think that sellers don't need to be disillusioned about the price of what their house is.
Right.
But also, it's a great time. Like, don't be afraid of the interest rates. I just put a post up a minute ago, and it was like, the fear of missing out. It's like, the right time is when you're ready. The right time is the best time for you. The right time to sell is when you're ready. You need to sell. Like, you can't anticipate the market.
Yeah. Are you seeing sellers hesitate selling right now because of the low interest rate they may have?
Yes.
Or are they, are most sellers selling because they have to?
Yes. Well, I have so many people that are like on the fence. Like, I've got this pipeline that's just holding for interest rates.
They're on hold.
Because they have a 3%.
That's good to know, because there could be more inventory.
I know.
Right?
I'll be calling you going, they're ready. Call me when the interest rate drops.
Right.
No, but they're holding because they have a 3% loan, and it's going to double or triple their payment, but it does have to go into perspective of, what bills are most important.
Yes. Yep. You got to do that. And then at the same time, some people are holding off, but they're living in a spot where they just don't fit anymore. Or whether it's going down or going up,
That's me. Raise my hand. No, I know it's true.
Yeah.
Because if your lifestyle, even like right now, I'm thinking about, because listen, I'm a real estate agent. You're a lender, but we're buyers too, and sellers as well. Yep. And I'm like, I drive 45 minutes away to drive my kids to school.
That's a long way.
That's a long way. I thought it wasn't, but it is.
Yeah.
And sorry.
Yeah.
But it's a long way, but I need to move closer.
Right.
It's like when you find the house that you want,
right,
the right time is now, and when you're ready.
Right. Right. So. And then buyers right now, what are you hearing from buyers? What are they looking for? What's their biggest concern?
It's always closing costs. How am I going to pay my closing costs and down payment? That's really what it boils down to a lot. Yeah. They're asking the questions whenever, and it's good, the good questions. How much is it going to cost me? So it's educating is a lot. I was talking about nurturing and follow up. Right. We have to educate, because we were talking about in school, they don't teach us like how to buy a house or a credit score.
There's not a lot of financial literacy, if you will, in high school,
most
college.
people don't know until you actually do it, and then you kind of forget about it too. So
You learn by hard knocks.
it's
Kind
the
of.
truth.
It's like, oh my gosh, it kind of hits
And then
you.
when like when like not to mess up your credit score after you already messed it up, and then you get it back, then you really know, like, I'm never going to do this again, right? Hopefully.
Well, you brought up two things that we see all the time, and it's fear of basically understanding what is their payment going to be and how much money do they come out of pocket.
Right.
Those are the two biggest things that we look at. With interest rates as high as they are right now, it's definitely something to consider. Do you think sellers are going to have to start doing some seller incentives?
I would love that.
Because there was, at the end of last year,
Yeah.
there was a number of seller incentives. They kind of went away.
Right. Yeah,
But
it did.
do you
I
think
haven't
they're gonna
seen
come
much.
back?
I think so. I mean, and even as a buyer's agent, like, ask for it. That's
Right.
what does your client need? Like, we need to be
Right.
asking for it and looking for that deal. I mean, I found a place and I was like, oh my gosh, like, the owner wants to finance it. What is
Right.
it? What you have to, it's kind of like detective work sometimes too. Hey, if this lender says this, maybe another lender would say something else,
Right.
because you can get creative.
Right.
Right.
You can get creative. And what are people looking for primarily? When you talk to somebody and you're going through basically their home goals,
Mhm.
what are the big points that they're looking at?
Well, one of the things is, maybe it's not what do they want, what do they not want. Okay, like,
You know what? I never
do
thought
I
of it
not
that
want?
way.
It's a lot
I don't
easier.
want this.
Yes.
Okay, I
Sometimes
never thought of it
to
that way.
figure
That's really
out
good.
what you want, sometimes you have to say, what do I not want?
Right.
Because we're looking for a house and we say 4 bedrooms and we say 2-car garage, and what do you want? But here's what they don't want. I don't want a Tuscan style house. Okay? We've got tons of them in Vegas.
Okay.
So,
Lots of those,
it's always like, I mean, really, I've been asking, like, so do you like modern or do you like Tuscan, Italian?
Okay.
Because we do have a lot of that in Vegas.
Yes.
So, and a lot of the younger people and coming from the West, they all want modern. So
Right.
it's like, I'm not even going to waste your time or my time showing you these houses,
Right.
even though it has the criteria.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
So last words, Mia, for somebody that is looking to sell their home,
Mhm.
what would be the biggest tip you could give them?
I think the biggest tip would be to declutter.
Declutter.
Yes, I think that the house needs to look like it is homey, but not lived in.
Homey but not lived in. So that's a great one for the seller. Last words on the tip for the buyer. What's the best tip you can give for a buyer?
For the buyer, I think that the best time, and we get all this pressure from everywhere, like TV, news, your real estate agent, your uncle, your cousin, and it's like, oh God, you're going to miss out on this or whatever. The best time to buy is when you're ready. It's not dependent on the interest rate. It's not dependent upon the election or the rain, the hurricane, whatever. It's when you're ready and you can afford it. So set yourself up, reach out to somebody like us that can show you and tell you what you need, and then be ready for whenever you see that house or the opportunity comes in front of you so that you can just jump and be
Yes, be ready to go.
ready. Yeah.
Well, Mia, thanks so much. I could spend all day here talking to you.
Yes.
It's so much fun. If you need somebody in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
awesome realtor right here,
Yes, thank
Mia
you.
Wolfe. So anyway, thanks
Well,
so much.
I love the pitch. Thank you for this platform that you're giving real estate agents to share all of their stuff on. So it's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.